Hi guys, Piers here back with another LEGO review. Here I have LEGO Star Wars Set 75045, Republic AV-7 Anti-Vehicle Cannon. This set was originally released in 2014 and sold around 55 Canadian dollars or 40 US dollars. Now at BrinkLink, a new set can cost you around, on average, 492 Canadian dollars or about 363 US dollars. If you're lucky, you might find something of this of 221 US dollars or about 299 Canadian dollars. Now for used AV-7 cannons, you can fetch on average one for 160 Canadian dollars or 118 US dollars. Now if you're lucky, you might find an AV-7 cannon for about a used AV-7 cannon for about 66 Canadian dollars or 49 US dollars. Moving on to our first minifigure, we have Jedi Master Plo Koon. It's a really nice character to get, though he's not exclusive to this set. You could find him in his own personal LEGO Starfighter or the Republic gunship from 2008. Moving to his design, you have a very generic Jedi robes, just brown legs. Maybe his coloring is a bit more pronounced, but otherwise, same old Plo Koon from those sets. It's still really nice to have. So yeah, that is Plo Koon. Moving on, our next minifigure is the Phase 2 Wolfpack Battalion Clone Troopers. This minifigure is exclusive to the set and is a big driver on why you might want this set. Now this minifigure is stylized in the cartoon Clone Wars style, so the design is a little bit more simpler than the realistic Phase 2. You have your simple gray markings all around, with a wolf stylized on top of the Phase 2 helmet, which is really nice. He does come with a carbine and your regular Clone Wars Clone Trooper face, not the angry clone face, which was an epidemic a few years ago. But yeah, really a nice minifigure. There's two of them, which makes them even better. On to the last minifigure here, we have the Droideka. This is more of a buildable minifigure, so it's more of a technicality. But yeah. This design has been used, I believe, since 2013, or the most basic version of this design does the trick. Looks pretty close to what a Droideka is. Yeah, can it roll into a ball? Yeah, you can sort of roll into a ball. It's not a perfect sphere, but it's good enough. You can adjust the guns a little bit. Raise the head and squabble the legs a bit, but yeah, simple Droideka, pretty effective. Now let's check out the features of the cannon. So when you're watching Star Wars: The Clone Wars, you might have noticed artillery shells on the side of the cannon. Now these actually act as extra spring-loaded shooters for this shooter over here. It's kind of hard to access. Let me try to spring it. And you see it's kind of hard to flick it. You could do a quick one and then reload. Put another shot in. It is kind of hard to use, so I'm gonna probably stick to this as more of an aesthetic purpose. You do have a second spring-loaded shooter that is a lot easier to use, so all you have to do is just press down here, simple shot. The set comes with a second spring-loaded shooter, so that's great if you lose one. Now moving on to the back, you notice that there is a bar here that is connected to a gearbox, which will elevate or depress the gun. There's a pretty decent elevation angle and depression angle here, so you can actually, I guess because of the gear's placement, the gear won't physically come in contact with the cannon itself, so you will have much greater depression angles for the gun. So if you're on a hill and you have the high ground, you can rain down terror easily. Not so much if you have the low ground. Yeah, high ground is overpowered. You could do the opposite, where you can switch the bar and put it over here, like just reverse the build. But that means you'll have less depression for more elevation. On the side here, you have a gunner spot, so you can get one of your 104 full pack troopers. Just place him right over here. There's not really any place to put his blaster carbine, but it's a nice station. Or you can get your classic Phase 1 Clone Wars gunner. That'd be also pretty cool. The cannon is the connection over here on the cannon is actually a little bit on the weak side, so it might slide off over time, or the barrel might actually droop a little bit, but that's a pretty minor thing. To actually transport this thing, you'd think that this thing would just literally walk to the battlefield. You could do that. The legs actually adjust, which is really nice. I like to set these hinges on a higher angle. It just looks cooler. But actually, in lore, this thing is propelled with repulsor lifts, so this thing can hover. And actually, the set caught on with this, because you can actually fold this up. You get this connected. And these rollers down here actually will create the illusion of this thing being hovered into the battlefield. So this is actually, I think, if you see Republic at War, this thing would fold up and then this thing would hover into position. It's a nice, very smooth operation. And yeah, there is one thing I want to point out. So yeah. There's some interesting nitpick I want to point out about this set. So this set is actually a Clone Wars set, or how it's advertised, it looks like it's a Clone Wars set. Actually, if you look at the cannon, you'll notice that the barrel is actually a lot more greebled, or more detailed, with a more rounded texture. You can see it with the top of the gun, how it curves to the back. Okay, there's some angle here. Also, where they store the ammo. In the Clone Wars, it should be a lot more angled. I could bring up some videos. So if you remember Star Wars Episode 3 Battle of Coruscant, when the AV-7 cannon is on a Venator that just is starting to engage the invisible hand, you'll notice these same features. Okay, here's the one. You can see a bit more of the cannon, and it's more angular back. Yeah, that matches the one in the Lego model. And if you go to the next picture, you'll see the barrel again. It's a bit more curved and a little more detailed on the barrel. Moving on, I have a model from the Clone Wars. This is the Clone Wars movie, I believe, Battle of Christophsis. You'll notice that the AV-7 has a simpler design because it's a cartoon model. Cartoons, I believe, are usually simpler. I guess it's more of a stylistic choice, but in this case, it's a lot more simpler than the live-action movie version. The barrel's a lot more simpler, and you notice the body where the ammo storage, or like maybe some textures and just general outline of the cannon, like where the barrel connects to this back end, or where the ammo storage is, it's a bit more angular. So yeah, it's something interesting to look at. I think, yeah, the cannon looks a lot more similar to what is seen in Episode 3, but yeah, something nice to point out. Okay, time for my final thoughts of this set. I think for what you get, it's a decent deal. for about 55 Canadian dollars for 455 pieces and 4-ish minifigures. I'm gonna say it's slightly overpriced, but not that bad. You do get 2 Wolfpack Troopers, which are probably the main reason why you want this set, and the cannon itself, because I guess when you really first see it in the Clone Wars movie, it's really iconic, and it's a great thing to have. I think for minifigures, it's okay. Now if they included, let's just say they exchanged maybe a Droideka for a Phase 2 Commander Wolf, then this set would go into God tier, and that 55 Canadian dollars can become 60, and I would still say this set is like totally worth it. But yeah, the set is mechanically reliable. Everything works well. Maybe the flick fire is just a bit hard to operate and it's a bit impractical, but it's okay. The aesthetics, this looks more similar to a realistic Episode 3 type AV-7 cannon than the Clone Wars model, but I think I would prefer that version over the Clone Wars model, just because it would probably age better over time. You do have all the play features, and plus you can roll it, like all these adjustable features here. Everything works fine. It's also nice to have a set with a gearbox if you want to build something a bit more complex. These joint pieces are also very nice. And these pieces as well. These Technic circular pieces, I forgot their name, but they're also really cool to have. So, pretty decent set. Maybe slightly overpriced, but overall it's pretty good. So, I'm gonna rate this set 7.8 out of 10. I think the designer did a pretty good job, and yeah, thank you guys for watching, and catch you guys later.